We're here live on the YouTube. And it's Monday where I am. So happy beginning of the week. If it is your beginning.
It should be Monday most everywhere, shouldn't it?
Yeah, unless they're in Australia. Do we have any Australians?
Oh, actually, no.
Australians.
Lindsay knows lots of Australians, but I don't really know any.
Hey, Auntie. Yeah, you too. I hope you are too.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us right here at the top of it. It seems like most people don't show up usually till like an hour in. How you doing today, Auntie? You want to come on and talk for a minute while everything's quiet? My day has been completely consumed by. I got a letter from. They always do this crap too, like the. I mean, and I'm thankful for the actual system, the food stamp system we have here in Texas. It's actually fairly generous, and they actually provide us more than enough money to buy food and stuff like that. But but you have to renew it every 6 months. You know, you can't. You have to go this renewal thing. I put the renewal in back in November, for the end of January. It went in January. But the renewal back in November, when they sent it to me, and they just sent me a letter. It says it was sent out on the 26th of January, but still, that's not even very much time. But it was due, but the stuff they wanted was due today when I got the letter. And so I've been on the phone with them like all morning trying to like figure out, okay, like what exactly, because like it's very vague. It's like it gives you like this list of documents they want, but it's like I don't even know. I didn't even know where I'd start to get these documents from, and it's all this thing. And then finally the guy on the phone's like, well, just write a letter, just like write a statement that has this information on it and take a picture of it and submit it through the app. And I was like, are you sure that's actually going to help? I mean, because I did that once before and they just rejected it. But I know I did it. I did it. I stayed on the phone with him and kept it like going and read it to him to make sure that was like what his understanding of like if that would be the wording and everything which would be right. And he said it was. So it's been like it was like, you have to wait on hold for an hour. And then once you get on the phone, it's like another hour. So it's just been a long morning. Got another Twin Peaks shirt on today. I told you I have tons of these things.
Welcome to.
It just says welcome to Twin Peaks, but it's got the owl thing there. It's got the owl thing.
What's all the other stuff around it?
Let's see. It says the owls are not what they seem at the bottom. It says established 1990. It says population is 51,201, just like this sign is in the show. I can't really read this part. What does that say there? I don't know. I think it says original, but it's split into 2 words. I don't know why it says that, but anyway.
Do not know.
Oh, you did not do the panel thing. Okay, well, that's fine. You don't actually have to go on camera after all. You can just come on, just talk to us from voice. Our show at this point, or in the earliest minutes and an hour of our show, it's less of a panel show, more of just like a casual discussion show. So it's really not. It only turns into a panel like an hour or so in, whenever people suddenly start to show up and start to like argue about stuff. So.
Well, I hope none of that latest panel drama makes its way over here.
I don't even know anything about it.
I don't know, something about Machine and Lindsay. And then there's another one about, was it Talcott? And let me not get the names wrong.
Doesn't matter.
Then also they said Talcott and Chuck made up, and they patched up their.
Well, good for them.
Their little thing. This is all gossip and rumors, but it's what I saw on the panels.
Good for them.
I5 versus.
Yeah.
He's
I5 was actually really nice yesterday, though.
Poor dear.
Maybe just because he's sick. I don't know. Maybe he's sick, so maybe he's not as like combative or something. But he was really nice yesterday. I actually like. I was just like, oh hey, Lib, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up with y'all?
I feel weird calling
Hey,
you Lib all the time.
are you
You have
sick?
like you have like another name I could call you or something?
I'm trying to think of something that doesn't track back to my dead name.
Well, what is your trans name?
Liberty.
Oh, that is the name?
That's yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Well,
That
that's
was
what.
yeah.
That's fine then. If that's your real name,
Yeah.
that's cool then. Like
Which
Lib is probably
yeah.
That's
I don't know if I said it on this show, but that was the reason I chose it was because I was talking to my mom and she had been saying that if I had been born female, that would have been the name they would have named me. So
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, that's
I
cool.
like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Cool then. I had no idea. I felt like I was calling you. I almost forgot that originally your name was Liberty Holmes. I forgot about that. I was just thinking of like Lib as in like liberal or something like that. Like
Oh
it
yeah,
was like a self-deprecating kind of thing or
No,
something
I
like
like
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Now that I understand the context, it makes a lot more sense. So like a Lib is fine then. I was just like thinking like I just feel weird calling you something that seems like it's like almost like a self-deprecating joke to a degree. So
It is there is a non-zero amount of it that is a self-deprecating joke. Yeah. Some of my friends back home in Memphis call me Bell because Liberty Bell. That yeah.
That's
That
funny.
was I like that one.
And because you're cracked down at least one side, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. But yeah.
Just like Neutral Milk Hotel said, just like a bell that's tipping over with two cracks along the side, and I knew the world was over, so I took a look outside. I
Hell
saw
yeah.
the fires that were raging from the mountaintops and the tops of trees, and the waiting scene in the Sunday dream. They're all waiting here for me.
Like that.
I mean, you don't listen to Neutral Milk Hotel? You're listening?
No. I listen to music in the most autistic way possible, which is I will listen to the same song 8 million times, like over the course of like 3 weeks, and then once all the dopamine has been extracted from it, I move on to the next song. So there are a few songs that I can like repeat by heart, but other than that, I have very little musical knowledge.
Considering how much so far our media tastes have aligned, I would highly recommend that you seek out. They only ever put out 2 albums. They have one called On Avery Island. That's that line I was quoting for was from the first song off On Avery Island called "Song Against Sex." And then their masterpiece is In the Airplane Over the Sea. It's probably the best beginning to end like total album I think, in my opinion, it's ever been made. I consider it the best album. I put it. I literally like if I had like top 3 or top 3 like just like objectively like best made albums. I put it alongside the Beatles' Revolver, Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, and then in the Airplane Over the Sea. I consider those like the 3 best albums, like just in terms of craft, in terms of like how well they're put together and like how they flow from beginning to end. I think those are the best 3 albums ever made. So,
Oh yeah, I'll check it out. I've
Well-
got it up on YouTube right now.
Lib, what is your current favorite song that you're going through?
So actually, right now, let me actually pull up because I always keep up. Find that window. Oh god, I can't even find the window. There it is. I usually have a playlist. Right now I'm into a bunch of weird indie shit, which is just what I call this album. It's mostly Days and Days. It's basically this like shitty little punk band. I Love You Like an Alcoholic is one of my favorites, and Colin the Coroner is another one. It's pretty like generic kind of punk, but I like listening to him. And actually, this other song by another guy named Pat the Bunny called "I'm Not a Good Person."
Oh, I love
which
Pat the Bunny. I love Pat the Bunny.
Just vibe with that song.
Do you like Andrew Jackson
Made a
Jihad?
connection.
I have never heard of Andrew Jackson Jihad, but
I found Pat the Bunny through like a recommendation because I was listening to Andrew Jackson Jihad. He has a song called "People to the Reckoning," and it's one of I think you will enjoy it quite a bit. It's one of my favorite songs of all time by far. Like it's just like it's like this amazing like thing of like the chorus is what is it and you're bipolar it comes and it goes your bipolar condition well it comes and it goes your parasympathetic nervous system reacts and you're in fight or flight mode
oh
and then
hell yeah.
Don't get
then
me
there's like the
copyright.
oh no I'm getting copyright struck for
Copywritten.
I think I'm not even singing it right and then he has this long verse about how there's how every one of us has like a serial killer inside of us. We all have we all have a dark side kind of thing, and then it segues into this thing of like it says like so here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you ever know. Oh, never mind,
That might get me
Mrs. Robinson. Jesus, people couldn't care whether or not you live or die. Live or die.
Oh
In
my god.
fucking fact, Mrs. Robinson.
Okay, I will definitely have to check this out then. This seems like my kind of shit. I love.
Oh no, dude! Like that, they're all of his songs are great. Okay, I mean, like, I think you might not even find they changed their name because I guess the term jihad became kind of like
Yeah.
problematic. So
Yeah, it's
now
AJJ.
it's AJJ now, but yeah, if you find pretty much all of this music is pretty great, and but "People to the Reckoning" is my favorite song of his by far. It's just I think it's a very philosophical song, and it's very cynical, but it also has like the part of it where he's talking about like the darkness inside of all of us is just very like I don't know, it's kind of bold kind of shit that you don't see a lot of people writing about, you know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So how was y'all's weekends?
It was pretty good. We spent it here mostly. It seems
pretty
like
much.
I
Dealing with,
didn't do anything.
we went to my polycule. We found there was a Mexican place just right over where we just moved that was doing this anniversary happy hour thing where like everything on the menu was $5. So we were getting like so it was like $5 margaritas, $5 the plate of nachos. We went and spent like $90 and got way too much fucking food. It was delicious though.
That sounds fun. That was last night.
Yeah, it was last night, and we also discovered a really cool weed shop right around there. Love. I like going to weed shops. They're like usually they're usually like cool people inside. Usually, some of them are weird, but
I've fought with a few of them, but that's normal for up here. Did you smoke weed? Did you get high?
no. But for Valentine's Day, I think my girlfriend, she doesn't. She's only smoked like once or twice, and just hasn't really found something that she liked. So she wants to try flower. So we're gonna they have like this big Valentine's Day sale. So on Valentine's Day, we're gonna go and get a little pipe and some flower. It's been a while since I've done flower too, so maybe that'll be nice. I don't think I've tried.
That's gonna be her Valentine's gift.
Yeah, that's gonna be her Valentine's gift. Maybe she will get high
instead of flowers.
Yeah, it'll be a kind of flower. Dude,
I don't know if
flowers are expensive
or not. I'm still processing it, but it sounds cute, I guess, for your subculture.
Yeah. I mean, we will almost certainly be doing more than just going to buy weed, but like, yeah.
It will, Frank. It will. Go do your thing. Get your bagel or your breakfast sandwich or your Subway, whatever you're eating, and come back for the rest of it. Yes, thrilling and informative.
Yeah, thrilling. Vittles. Get you your vittles. I miss that word. People in the South use that all the fucking time.
Vittles, yeah,
yeah.
I never
especially around where
ate
you
from
are.
Vittles much growing up.
Molly Grub. Ooh, we got another panelist.
Hi,
everyone.
Cascadian.
Another
What's up,
Anarch.
man?
It's been a while.
What's
Yeah, it has
up?
been a while. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right. I'm normally playing basketball during these hours, but decided not to today because I had to format a portable hard drive, and I'm trying to copy all my music files back on it.
Ah. Thank God there's another anarchist that Frank can yell at on the panel.
So what's been going on?
Oh, for me, I've just been like doing a lot of like thinking about just I don't know, just having a lot of general skepticism about what's going on with Christianity these days. Especially like when Trad Culture did that stream talking about how a lot of the early theologians kind of disagreed about salvation because some were universalist, and then you had some sick-minded bastards who thought that like unbaptized infants went straight to hell.
Oh yeah.
What do you think it's still that way? Like, what do you think the current issues with Christianity are?
Well, see, that's the problem. Like you'll have these people say, "Well, go back to Orthodox Christianity because that's where it all started." But then when you go and study the early church fathers didn't even agree on everything. Like for example, you had like Saint Gregory of Nyssa, who was kind of in the minority, but he like advocated against slavery. Like he was one of the few people to speak out against it, but that wasn't really the norm. That wasn't really necessarily the norm with everyone.
Yeah.
And then, even within the Orthodox Church, the Oriental churches, the Ethiopian church, and a few other churches are considered, not part of the main church because they're labeled as monophysites. So they were like secret council meetings to get the churches to unify again during the 20th century. And then the monks of Mount Athos completely shot that down because they didn't want to be in communion with them. And then, like, I was just watching Triologic's video yesterday exposing Andrew and Rachel Wilson, and people like them just kind of make me
Was that the
sick
same
stuff.
expose as the earlier one, or did someone do a second expose?
It's a second expose.
Oh, expose. What did it expose?
Well, basically, Rachel Wilson is the type of person that should just get off the internet and not bash on women and feminists anymore because she had like 2 baby daddies before she married Andrew Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So her and Andrew only had 2 kids together. And then on top of that, she's probably a terrible mother. And like I found out, like their oldest daughter became a lesbian. No surprise there, because if you had people like her and Andrew raising you, you're gonna like want to
I
get
don't even
this
think
part.
even Andrew could turn someone lesbian.
It wasn't their kid. I mean, that was like her first. That was like the oldest kids. Andrew didn't really get. I'm pretty sure Andrew doesn't care that much about, but like the oldest daughter, like one of the daughters that wasn't Andrew's kids became a lesbian, and she like pretty much. It's funny because like they're the type of people that like bash gays and pretty much say horrible things about gay people, and then on top of that, they tried to pawn one of their daughters off to a groiper.
What?
This sounds like hearsay so far.
It's not though, because that's the problem. Is Rachel Wilson posted all this stuff on social media, and she's that type of person that doesn't keep her private life private enough. She just like constantly is just terminally online and just puts everything out there.
Yeah, a lot of us are.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't think we would be here if we weren't.
Well, me, like, yeah, I'm on the computer a lot, but I'm mostly doing that to edit a lot of music files because I have a giant collection.
Well,
But
she might be editing files.
outside of that, I'm a very transparent person, and I don't just go around trying to pretend to be somebody I'm not just for the sake of clout.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's probably a difference between being terminally online but keeping your like, real life and quote unquote real life and like what you do on the internet sort of like separate, and like being the kind of person who like, uses pseudonymous sites like Twitter to just be like Facebook, where you post all your fucking information on there and air everything out and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing is I'm not a right-wing grifter. I'm not grifting for the right. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of these right-wing figureheads that tries to act like my shit doesn't stink, and I'm trying to point, and I'm trying to just judge everybody else, punch down, and insult like other people, and act like I'm higher and holier than thou. I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I thought you were a lefty, just from your name.
No, I'm not even a leftist. I mean, I can't even really define where I stand because.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of people, and I think this is actually true for a lot of people who tend to be, I guess, more well-read, is while they might, some of their beliefs might like align with sort of more sort of left of center ideology, calling them leftist would be most of like not correct, mostly because with internet discourse.
Are you saying leftists are smarter or better educated than the right?
No, but I do think that people who are both ethical and more educated do tend to lean more left.
I disagree. I find just as many of those people.
It depends on what faction of the right we're talking about, because some people on the dissident right are third positionists, are very well read and educated. It's just that they're not the majority. They're not the majority, though.
Well, it's worth noting that I'm talking about like being both, like well-read, intelligent, and also not a grifter. Because I do think there are plenty of very smart people, both on the left and the right, who are just basically grifters.
What makes someone not a grifter? I think everybody's grifting, in a way.
So like one good example would be like, for instance, Candace Owens, I think, is actually a great example of this.
This is an entertainment channel. It's all for fun.
But I'm just okay. Like I could easily define it, because the difference between someone who is or isn't is someone who actually lives by their principles. So if somebody actually lives by their principles and they walk the walk, and it's just not a performative act, then I wouldn't really call that person a grifter. Like I've known people like on the left, who have channels and they do on the ground activism, and I wouldn't call people like that grifters. But I know a lot of people, especially on the right, I would easily call grifters, because a lot of these people try to talk about morals. They try to like force feed their religion down your throat, but then behind the scenes, they're the same kind of degenerates they talk crap about.
I don't even necessarily think it's about walking the walk or something. I do think it is about having a consistent sort of like foundational moral beliefs, right? So like it's possible for someone to change their opinion.
Anybody that doesn't have that is a grifter?
No, but I do think that if you are, like, for instance, an online personality, and you oscillate between contradictory or like opposite opinions, or you just like very quickly shift one way or the other, I do think that the likelihood of that person being a grifter isn't like a thing that I think you can like demonstrably like objectively prove, because again, it's about like intent. You can infer that someone's a grifter. Like, for instance, I am inferring that, because you can't see in their brain, you can't like see and know their intentions.
Yeah,
but
that's one of my big barriers to understanding this.
Well, I mean, inferences are just
I don't
part
know.
of
For
being.
me, it's not complicated. I mean, there are people that, yeah, you have to do this to make money sometimes. Sometimes this is your career. That's understandable.
Yeah, I'm
And,
trying to be a grifter.
your Patreon has to pay the bills.
Mhm.
But there's a difference between somebody who, is legit about what they're doing, and they let's just say somebody does a channel where they do educational content,
Mhm.
and they have to have a Patreon to make good quality content, or some other way up to pay them for it. I don't consider that person a grifter. But now,
No.
if somebody is just you just have to think about what the cause and effect of what somebody is doing.
Yeah, and it's about like
Why
building a
does
case.
it matter if they're a grifter? Just don't buy their product. Like, don't follow them or use them.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think the knowing that someone's a grifter is more about just like understanding. For me, it's about whether or not to take what they're saying as their own beliefs or as like an ephemeral, like they're saying this to get money, right? Like Candace
But
Owens,
does
for
it
instance.
matter? Like, can you evaluate?
Well, it does
Like,
matter, but then
the
at the same
idea?
time, it doesn't. Because, okay, they're just going to be gullible people that follow certain voices, and they're going to support them financially,
Yeah,
and they're not
like
going to
Alex
really
Jones.
care. They're not going to really. It's like the people who follow. It's like, okay, when you go back a few decades before the internet, when you had televangelists like Jimmy Swaggart, for example.
I remember him.
Even when Jimmy Swaggart got exposed, he still had his followers and his supporters. Same thing with Peter Popoff.
I do think one of the.
If you think, if you think Candace Owens is like the poster child for grifting, though, Lib, I have to say that I think Vosh is a better example, in my opinion.
I think he is. I would agree with that.
I don't think
How
Vosh.
so?
Y'all think he's
believes-
intentionally like bullshitting?
Oh yeah,
people
I don't believe Vosh believes a goddamn thing he says. I don't.
He's autistic enough to believe a
I'm-
lot of it.
Yeah, I'm not like there are definitely like if you want to like talk about like other streamers who I think like.
Well, Hassan's maybe worse. Hassan's
Yeah, I think.
I can't
Well,
stand
okay, actually, with Hassan, I'm not necessarily convinced he's a grifter. I think he's just fucking stupid.
That's
because-
Well, yeah, that's just the problem with a lot of RedTube content creators in general. A lot of them are just like, a lot of them are just genuinely midwits, and they don't really like. They're not really the type of people that you would ever want to go to like really learn about certain things, and they shouldn't really be seen as like an authority on certain opinions. But like that's something that I know about, and I've known that from talking to other people. So it's not like that's just like a no-brainer for me. But for some other people, they don't know what it is.
You dropped out there for a second, Cascadian, but you came back. So like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like on Vosh specifically, I'm probably not the best. I'm very openly biased. Yeah, so like I'm not gonna, say.
I don't like don't get me wrong. I don't like Candace Owens either, but I don't have any. I don't necessarily. I haven't seen her do anything that necessarily is contradictory in terms of her like.
I remember Candace Owens
principles or whatever.
Well, I remember Candace Owens from back in like the Gamergate days, because like back in like I think it was like 2015. She basically burst onto the scene with her. She had this whole thing that was about basically doxing people who were like mean to people online. And it was coming from this like weird like liberal left position, and it was like, I mean, everyone hated it, but she was like using sort of like a lot of that like progressive terminology to sort of push this kind of thing. But well, no, it is like the thing is everybody hated it, left and right, like fucking hated it because this is obviously very bad. And so like that tanked, and then like 6 months later, she comes out and like is working with a number of like right-wing channels and stuff, and then she gets on with was it PragerU? I think she's still with PragerU mostly.
No, I think she's Daily Wire all the way now. But
Daily Wire. That's what it is.
They do stuff with PragerU still too. But I mean, but yeah, I mean, but at the same time, but like they're at least with her, I mean, and I'm not defending her because I don't like Candace Owens, okay? But I'm just saying that. But at least with her, there was a period of time where she was like this, and then things changed. You know, Vosh simultaneously is like the most hardcore capitalist while preaching socialism constantly. I mean, like he is a absolutely a capitalist in the sense that he found a market. He found a market that likes his message, and he clearly does not believe in his the bullshit he says. He just says it because it gets him views and clicks and money. And Hassan, on the other hand, Hassan,
what do you
you're
mean
probably right.
clearly?
Probably a moron.
What do you mean clearly?
Because I've seen him. I've seen him like because he's just like he's done plenty of things. He's had. I mean, I guess I would have to go. I'd have to go into a Vosh deep dive to do it. I know.
Well,
I've
I don't
seen
necessarily
it.
agree with that assessment, though, because for someone to be a capitalist, they would have to hire people to work for them, and then it would have to kind of go through the process.
No, he does have people who work for him. He has like editors and stuff. I mean, they're actually, are they? I can't remember if they're just contractors or if they're like technically. I think they're just contractors. I don't think he has like a company to have employees. So
right, which I mean, I mean, as far as I know, he doesn't provide them benefits. He doesn't do anything like that, and at least he didn't used to anyway. I'm just saying, like he clearly doesn't live his principles, and he makes a lot of money, and he does.
Yeah, but he also clearly said that he's a market socialist, so he's not necessarily. He does say
that he does say that sometimes, but then sometimes he's all like, "Viva la revolution," He's like he turns into a tanky. Yeah, I've heard
like everybody always
Viva
like
Revolution?
he's a reformer.
Who is
Vosh? He has explicitly talked about.
Yeah, I
like,
can see
reformism.
him as Viva Revolution guy.
He's not. I mean, I see how you could see it, but like.
But no, that's why a lot of tankies hated him because they saw him like people like Danky Kang and like Ewoks Unhinged before B-Level and Dark Zenovia split were very critical of him for being a reformer and some of his other views that they considered very liberal minded. Like to them, he was just a rad lib. He wasn't really. He wasn't necessarily like a revolutionary, hammer and sickle communist.
Yeah.
I have a special request to cover my ass. I want you to play the clip I have of me promoting OTW's hat on the Machine Lies. Just so I can cover my ass.
Why are you promoting OTW stuff? Is he paying
I actually like the show, but here's the thing. They're telling me that I'm lying and just talking shit on them.
Who is?
Speaking Paul and his crew tell me that I didn't do it, that I'm a liar. So just to cover my ass, I need you to play this clip for me, just to protect myself, because I want to kill this drama as soon as possible.
What does playing it on here get you? Like it preserves it on this channel?
No, it's evident. I wanted out in the second spot, so it couldn't just be striked away.
This, oh my God, this is the kind of drama I was hoping to keep out of here.
I need to play in the second spot so I can cover my ass. So whatever bullshit they make up, it doesn't go anywhere. And if they keep it on, people just think they're racist.
Well,
so I'm begging.
If it makes you feel any better, it doesn't matter whether or not you put the clip out there. People will believe what they want to believe, anyways, regardless of the evidence.
Well, I want to see that for myself. I want to see that for myself.
All right. How long is the clip?
1 minute.
That's fine then. I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Here is the mysterious drama clip. You're watching it here, maybe first, maybe third. We don't know. I have to change my settings. Hang on.
Hey, Cynthia.
Oh, hey, Cynthia. Man, yeah. I saw some of that drama this morning, too. Man. I guess we're going to have to do stream court today. All right, 1 second.
Okay, get your robot, Jeff. I'll be the bailiff.
All right, here's drama.
The Chat GPT judge.
So I actually have one of those.
OTW hat, you say, huh?
Yeah, I have one. Wow. Don't assume it's for sympathetic magic.
Well, I'm sure that'll comfort him.
I made sure he saw that I had it. So.
I can't take my eyes off this dog picture.
It does need to be reinforced
I'm
on the
hypnotized
inside. It
by this
doesn't
dog
have
picture.
as much much stuff inside of it as my normal hats, but I can fix it.
This dog is trying to
You're
hypnotize
flopping.
me and chasing squirrels or something. I don't know. It's like it's getting in my head.
Shit,
God.
bro. You know?
Is that it?
Is that it? Like
Yes, that's it. I just need to
That
show
was
them I did,
hilarious.
in fact, promote their
I'm
hat.
glad we
I
played
did
it.
it before they asked me to, and now they're playing games and saying I'm a liar now. So that's all I need to do. I need that
Lying
out.
about what? What are they saying you lied about?
They're making all kinds of shit up, but they're definitely in on, oh, you didn't promote the hat or whatever. It's pretty obvious I did. So whatever else lies, it's just obvious total bullshit. So they could probably make whatever they want up now.
Don't worry about what they think and stay away from them.
No, I'll go wherever I want. I'll go wherever I want.
Is a
I'll
big
shit on
place.
Panels. I'll go on your panel and shit on your panel. I'll shit on myself.
Okay.
But they're just gonna make whatever the shit up they want. Then just go ahead. No one's gonna believe you because the facts, or you don't have any facts. I'm just being direct. If you don't have any facts, the only people who believe you are total idiots.
Okay.
And that'll be it for now.
Appreciate it. I don't know.
All right. So what were we talking about before? Oh yeah, about Vosh and stuff. Okay. So.
Yeah.
That was pretty much done anyway, I guess. Okay.
Yeah,
So bye, Hank. Bye, Hank. I guess
Hank.
he just came to use us. He just came to use our stream for his own gain, and then he just took off. So.
Well. Is what it. I mean, I use this stream for my attention whoreness.
Even getting the hat was even showing off the hat was a troll move. Like even ordering the hat was a troll move.
We all feel dirty now, Frank.
So this was like meta trolling, recursive trolling.
I feel like a
6 dimensions of trolling.
Frank, I'm always dirty.
I feel like
dirty
a piece of stream meat.
I'm a dirty degenerate, Frank. Honestly, I'm surprised Frank hates my communism more than my social degeneracy.
I think
that's because everyone's a social degenerate.
He's
some
just
level.
a cranky. He's trapped in Canada. It makes him cranky. I think.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're in America's hat.
Of course, like I was going to say, when I mentioned like certain YouTube communities, I'm talking about like very small independent channels, or channels that weren't even doing it for profit. So like a lot of the communists that I used to talk to were not really like super well known outside of their small circles.
Yeah.
I suck?
No, he's talking about me. I mean, most of the communists I know are in real life.
He probably does.
Because like there was one channel I was a guest on a few times called Ewoks Unhinged, but the two hosts split up, and when the channel still stuck around, he renamed it eventually Dialectics Unhinged until he pretty much retired the channel altogether.
God, lefties infighting. Nothing more lefty than infighting.
Well, the reason why they kind of split is because Dark Zenovia was kind of leaning more towards being a third worldist, and now he's kind of like a Maoist third worldist. So he was kind of leaning more towards the Jason Unruh camp, and B Level at the time was leaning more towards Caleb Maupin. But
okay, so you have.
Well, he split away from the whole Maupin thing after the Maupin scandal happened, and then
it took that much to get him to split away. Ugh.
I think honestly, they were kind of going their separate ways even before that.
Okay, that's good. I was going to say, like,
because
the
he's in
Maupin stuff,
Canada,
I don't know.
so he was never really like a member of the CPI or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. CPI, like, maybe it's just because I like fucking hate tankies, but like.
Yeah,
tankies all come across to me now like as like just secret fascists. Like they don't like usually ever talk about like actual communism. They're They
You
just talk
think
about
Jack
like the
Talcott's a
aesthetic.
tanky?
I don't know. To me, they don't really come across as fascist just because, like me actually being like involved in those communities, I kind of know the difference. And there's a big difference in language and worldviews because like like even the most authoritarian communist is still going to be a materialist in this at the surface.
Yeah, but if you're like
A fascist is always going to be more idealist in their mindset. So their idealist mindset is always going to be about stuff that has nothing to do with material things.
I don't know. I just anyone who in the
I mean,
modern day.
they're both different flavors of shit. But
Yes, they are.
I'm just saying that like they're not necessarily the same. Like on a surface level,
No.
people will think they're the same because they're both authoritarians, and they both would be like shit to live under.
Yeah.
But the difference is where they're like their differences in worldview. So they're both the end result is going to be similar, but the method to getting there is going to be a lot different.
I guess I don't know. The Caleb Maupin just I am always very, very skeptical who are defensive of the Soviet Union, because the Soviet Union.
I don't know. For me, there's nothing to really be defensive about it because if anybody did like any kind of research, which most people don't, they'll just like go to reading Grover Fur or some other crap like that. But if you just do like even any surface level research, you see that there was a lot of problems with the Soviet Union. Like for example, like if there was a striking workers, they would get shot. Lenin had them punished. Or like when Stalin was in charge, there was a lot of innocent civilians that were sent to the gulag or executed during the time where they were just trying to purge out whatever counter-revolutionary elements they were looking for. And in a lot of cases, all you had to be was just like maybe a foreign worker in that. Because like, for example, there was a book called Black on Red about a black engineer who lived in the Soviet Union. And during the Great Terror, there was a time where there was these two dentists that moved to the Soviet Union because they supported communism. And then later on, like I think when Yazov was head of the secret police, they were just basically arrested and executed under false charges.
I mean, like, I think you're really underselling it there. Stalin murdered more people than, or at least like.
I'm not trying to undersell it. The thing is like there's just I'm not even trying to undersell it. The thing is there's just so much material to read from that, like even when the stuff that I bring up is barely even scratching the surface. Like I'm not even touching the tip of the iceberg when I talk about this.
And it's important to know that you are also delving further than the average understanding of the Soviet Union. Most people's understanding is like basically limited to the Black Book of Communism's bullshit lies, which like frustrates me because like the Soviet Union was bad. You don't have to like lie to make it seem worse. You just have to print the truth. And so it frustrates me that like oh God, what the fuck, who was it that the Black Book was printed by? But like those fucking dipshits, like they just pretty expressly were dishonest. And
that's how I felt about Trump the whole time he was there. I was like, this guy's bad enough. You don't need to make up shit. And it just makes your side look worse whenever you make shit up that's easily disprovable, whenever there's already plenty of provable stuff you can go with. He doesn't need. It's like they actually whenever you lie about someone, especially in ways that are easily disprovable, you actually help them. You help them be more sympathetic. You help people like come to their cause, because then they see that like, oh, such as lying about them, It's such a bullshit. It's such a bullshit tactic. I mean, Stalin basically committed genocide through starvation for millions of people because he wanted to believe that these like completely obviously bullshit agricultural techniques that this crackpot scientist come up with were, everyone knew they didn't work, and yet he was like, and yet he supported them and basically said like, this is the only way we're going to grow crops, and just basically just massacred, like just committed genocide on his own people.
Well, some of that had to do with the science of Lysenkoism, and then on the other hand, you also had nomadic tribes in Kazakhstan that were told to be like modern agriculturists. And when they were like introduced to modern agriculture and they had to live a more sedentary lifestyle, they got hit with a horrible famine that killed like millions of them. But that's the thing, is like you could just research that stuff. And it does take a lot of time to research that stuff because the Soviet Union was a giant ass country that had a lot of places in it. And there's a certain books that do a pretty good job detailing what happened. But when you really like go deep into what happened, it really isn't like a place that anyone should ever advocate. It's not a place that anyone should ever glorify or advocate for.
Yeah, for real.
It really isn't.
Yeah,
but it also isn't what the Black Book of Communism said it was either.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely not that either. I mean, you're absolutely right. The Black Book of Communism thing. I've researched, of all things, I did a lot of in-depth research on Russia when I worked for Cracked, because I did some back research on some articles and stuff like that. And
Do you know the answer to Frank's question about the Bolsheviks?
I think he's implying that the Bolsheviks were Jewish. That was a common conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy theory that like a lot of fascists try to use, and people on the dissident right. But I think it's kind of false, because I don't think there's a lot of evidence for that.
It's also, not even just false. It's like it's just made up bullshit.
Also, it's the same thing like when researching like
true, who cares? Even if
it's also like the same thing when researching Italian fascism. I mean, all I had to do to be convinced that it was bad was just to read books that actually detailed its history more accurately. But then at the same time, there was like this good book I was reading about it, where it really chronicled like some of the failures the left had. And one of the things that the left did, which was really stupid, is you had some anarchists that like bombed a theater, and that ended up screwing them over. And then there was a monarchist YouTuber that brought up the point that the King's army could have just shot down the black shirts during the March of Rome, but they, ended up standing down at the last minute.
Yeah.
So they could have easily crushed that. That only succeeded on a bluff. It had nothing to do with the power and might of
Italian fascism.
It had nothing to do with the power and the might of fascists. It was just a dumb luck situation where they got really lucky, and it was all good timing, because honestly, the king could have had his soldiers gun him down, and then that never would have happened.
Yeah, it's actually interesting, because if you look at like the history, like the OG fascists back in like Europe in the 1920s and 30s, like they were all just like miserable incels. They were just the fucking dregs of like society. The Nazis obviously talked about the ideal Aryan person, and like you look at like Nazi high command, and there were no ideal Aryan Ubermensch.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I'm not as well read on like
half Jewish, so
I'm not as well read on German National Socialist history. I mean, I just found a really good book about it, about their rise to power. But even their rise to power had a lot more to do with just circumstantial luck, and the fact that they were just fighting against communists, and the fact that it was just the right place, right time type of situation. So it wasn't the strength of their ideology. Their ideology in most situations would never really succeed. It's just that it was just a flash in the pan type of situation where they just kind of got in at the right time.
Alongside the complacency of the liberals within the Weimar Republic, who partnered with the Nazis because they wanted to use them as a wedge against the communists, which is, I think, probably the most damning sort of piece of evidence against sort of like that particular liberal institution, was that they partnered with fascists against communists. There's a really good book, even though everyone probably has problems with Michael Perenni, but Black Shirts and Reds.
That's really a good book. He doesn't source anything.
No,
and everybody I've talked to said it was kind of a shitty book, but I can name a better book.
Actually, if you have one, please. I genuinely.
Yeah, because this was a book that Theodore Schubat referenced, because he was using it to reference a lot of his videos that he was talking about, where he says like Basically, Theodore Schubacht's trying to make the point that all this stuff is making a comeback, and that Europe is eventually going to have like a fascist revival.
There are definitely places where that's true. I mean, if you look at just look at Hungary. Hungary is kind of a really big breeding ground.
Okay, so this is a book from
right
Michael Burleigh. And Michael Burleigh's written several interesting books, but this book is called, and this is, I think, a newer book, but this book is called The Third Reich, A New History from Michael Burleigh. And I haven't really gotten a chance to read a ton of it, but it pretty much like chronicles their whole rise to power.
And that one's better than the one he recommended?
Most stuff is better than Michael Perenni. Like, as far as like Michael Perenni is a, if you're convinced of sort of like leftist ideology already, Michael Perenni is fine. But he doesn't. He's not great if you don't already agree with a lot of those.
What kind of scholarship is
fundamental
that?
Principles.
But the problem is, like I said, is Parenti doesn't source anything in that book, because I used to have that book, and a lot of problems that I have with leftist writers is they tend to like, and I'm not saying that's the case with every author, because there are like authors that like will source their information and use factual, evidence for things, but some people are just writing like a big book of propaganda, and I kind of like stuff that's like, filled with sources.
No, I do too. Michael Perenni's a propagandist.
That's why I'm glad like this book was recommended in a video, because it talks about everything that like caused the rise of this. It doesn't talk about, too much of World War II itself, which is good, because, like there's already a bunch of books about that.
Yeah.
But have you guys ever...
definitely going on my reading list.
But basically, like, it starts off, talking about, World War I, the aftermath of World War I.
Yeah.
And what happened there.
I don't know, guys. I don't know if I can go along with all this book stuff you guys are talking about. First of all, books are for nerds, okay? And second of all, my backup religion, Discordianism, explicitly tells me never believe anything you read. So
true. True. All words on pages are lies. That's in fact true. The only truth you can find are words on the internet. Actually, no. It's not words. It's what people say. Yeah.
What people say. Yeah. Never believe anything you read. That's it's one of the funniest.
But yeah, liberal democracy, like basically in Weimar society, it was basically stating that liberal democracy was in danger of becoming an extinct species in interwar Europe. By 1939, undemocratic regimes already outnumbered constitutional democracies by 16-12 before turning to the rise of the Nazis. It may be helpful to say a little bit about the politics of the Weimar Republic in general. Yeah, and it was pretty unstable.
Oh, it was really unstable. Oh my God.
But the early 20th century in Europe was just a really terrible time for liberalism.
Yeah, not wrong.
It was just
the second half of the 20th century, though, was better.
Huh?
What are you laughing about, Jeff?
Frank.
Now, like now post World War II Europe, it was a little different because things were a lot more stable by then.
Well, you also had like the emergence of the Cold War, so you kind of had that sort of dichotomy where you had the American influenced Europe, and then you had the Soviet influenced Europe, and you kind of had that big dichotomy there. And then even after that, you get like the 90s, and you get the post-Soviet sort of almost like a revival of liberal democracies in Europe. Where they were basically all super strengthened, at least comparatively. It's not hard. It's not hard to get to a better post-Soviet state. You just have to get rid of the Soviet part, and that's already an improvement.
Europe itself, like, there's nothing really perfect about Europe. Even pre-World War, post-World War. I mean, like. And we're already seeing like instability in some places over time. So
The UK, that's one of the UK. I'll maintain the UK is basically a dead country. Like
yeah,
there's
I
What does
don't
that
have a
mean?
problem with the UK lately. I know Theodore Schubat, he tends to bring up places like Germany and Sweden a lot because he brought up like the rise of the AfD in Germany, the rise of the Sweden Democrats in Sweden.
By dead country, what I mean is that the UK's power and influence, both domestically and internationally, has declined to a point of near irrelevance. Basically, if you like, for instance, if you were to look at like the GDP of the UK, and let's say you remove one city, right? You remove London, and the entire rest of the UK has about the same GDP as the state of Mississippi, if you remove London. Which,
Oh my God, are you serious?
yes.
That's
I
dire.
actually I can actually find. I'll find the chart thing. It's not good, and that's. I mean, like that was exacerbated by their Brexit stuff. The Brexit stuff has been basically
You
nothing
think
but
it was the
negative.
coloreds,
The what?
the immigrants?
No, it was the reaction to the immigration.
Yeah.
It was Brexit basically, because they
It was
basically
white
they've
flight.
yeah
They
they've,
tried to
they've
white flight.
and it turns out that when you try and white flight an entire country, you just crash its economy.
That tends to happen in the United States in places where white flight was an issue.
Yeah.
Certain
Wait, what
places,
was?
certain
Oh,
towns,
yeah.
just kind of like. But then there's also white majority towns in the South that are just like in total poverty because coal was like their only real industry. And once
Frank, come on and talk. Come on and get it cleared up. Set him straight. He appreciates that.
I mean, I'd appreciate it. Given the way Frank talks in chat, I'm not sure if he'll be super coherent, but you know, we'll see.
There was his response. Yeah, borderline criminal, he says.
Yeah, I don't know what he's referencing.
Oh,
I mean,
he still is with his mom.
yeah.
It looks like.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
don't
honestly
get
pretty.
yourself kicked out or anything.
That's yeah. Also, nobody make fun of him for it. It's honestly not that big of a deal in today's age and society.
To live with your mom?
Yeah, I don't blame anyone at all.
Yeah. No, I might end up back with mine too. So
yeah. Well, that's partly because you want to go back to.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, that's also you want to go to. Oh well, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
you do
Frank.
have my sympathy, Frank.
Yeah.
I apologize if
I will keep her in my prayers. I mean that sincerely. So I'm not like.
I don't have prayer. You probably don't want her in my prayers, but I do wish her well.
Well, you're a good son. You're a very good son, Frank.
Yeah, that is a good son.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like dump on anyone for living with their mother. I mean, I was living with mine before I moved into my place.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially in the States today, are kind of living with other people is just almost necessary at this point. And if to leave your family.
The only hope that most people in my generation and beyond have of owning their home is if they inherit it from their parents when they die. So that's kind of depressing. Yeah.
Honestly, same, Frank.
I'll own a house one day whenever all my family dies. You know, that's just lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like one more thing I wanted to say about the religion stuff is I don't have a disbelief in God or anything like that. I just have skepticism towards how people organize religions in create their own subjective truth off of what they interpret the Bible as saying.
Yeah, but that's what they're gonna do. Like, that's how do you avoid or prevent that?
Yeah, but how can something be true if people can have like 5 or 6 different interpretations of it?
Well, I mean, as with truth, typically, truth is not relative in this sense, but I mean, like, there are definitely things that can be simultaneously true, that people will believe, which is something that I think a lot of Christians sort of leave as an option on the table, because a lot of Christians will go like the route of biblical inerrancy, which is like it's not only, I think, untheological, but like it's stupid. Like,
yeah, but I don't think like the early church believed it completely in biblical inerrancy, at least not on the surface, because they didn't really like. It was a completely different religion than like what Protestant Christianity later became.
They didn't have an ideological reason to.
I mean, hell, Protestant
believe
Christianity is only a reaction to Catholicism in the first place, which had nothing to do with early church Christianity in the first place. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Protestantism, even though it talks about it, like they talk about like it was a reformist thing, but really they just took Catholicism, they removed some things they didn't like from it, and then they kept the rest of it. So, I mean, really, Catholicism is still the root of all our major Christian religions, and that they're all offshoots. Or do I got any movies with Helen Hunt's boobs in them? Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. Did she ever go topless in any movies? I don't even know about that. Yeah, I put by the way, I put an article I wrote for Crack that was about some of the things that Soviet Russia did that were pretty crazy. It lists me as having a co-writer on it, but he contributed, like, because like we were both like pitching for the same basic article, and they wrap some of his points into some of my points. So like there's some parts of it that aren't really my writing, but it's mostly mine.
All right.
my.
Well,
I don't think she showed her boobs as good as it gets, Frank. I think she just showed her back, didn't she? Maybe I'm wrong.
Was she the one in Mask? I get her confused with Laura Dern.
Yeah, that was Laura Dern. Yeah, that wasn't Helen.
all right. So here's
Helen
a
Hunt
different topic.
Helen Hunt was mad about you.
What's everybody's thoughts on the 2024 Grammys?
I don't know anything. I haven't watched the Grammys in decades.
Do people have thoughts on the Grammys still?
Yeah, I don't think I've had thoughts on the Grammys since I was in high school.
Hell, I haven't even had thoughts on the Oscars. I haven't even had thoughts on the Oscars in a long time, and I used to love the Oscars when I was growing up. But like, I don't even know who won Best Picture or anything the last several years. I gave up on it a long time ago.
Yeah, like I haven't watched any of that stuff either. I just know everybody's talking about Taylor Swift. Like, at least
I mean, everyone's talking about Taylor Swift.
She's good, but she was a lot better in the past. Like, this is definitely not her peak. So I don't know why this is the period that's getting all the attention.
Yeah,
I mean, I started to get some more respect for her when she started working with Bon Iver and stuff like that. But then, but none of the music that they produced was all that great. I don't know. I've never been impressed with Taylor Swift. I've been impressed with her in the sense of, like, if she actually does write her music to any degree, I think she has a really good sense for like what makes a good pop song. But I doubt that she actually. But from my understanding is that she comes in with like a skeleton of a song, and then the producers all flesh it all out and turn it into something else. So
yeah,
I don't know.
She makes good. It's some of the best '80s music out there. It's really good music.
It's not even that '80s though. It doesn't sound very '80s to me.
It is. She has at least 3, and she has songs on 2 other albums that are pure '80s.
I mean, I don't hate her. I'll say that I don't hate her. I just don't see the big deal about her is. I never have. I've never understood her. I've never understood her popularity to a big degree. But I don't.
I can understand her popularity, but I was never a fan of her music.
I'm an OG Swiftie.
She writes really good songs like that. Her music itself explains her popularity.
I don't know.
In the world of pop, they really stand out and catch
Carole
the
King.
She's never put out an artistic statement on the level like Beyonce did with Lemonade. Like Lemonade was a legitimately amazing album, and like it blew me away. I was like completely shocked by how good that was because I'd never heard Beyonce do anything that I liked.
She put out some really good pop music, some of the best in the genre. So I don't know what other criticisms.
Auntie, I don't know how many
concerts she's supposed to do. She put out good music.
I'd say Blank Space was at least a very self-aware song. It was a kind of a funny self-aware song. I'll give her that. I mean, I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's bad. I just don't think she's like. She doesn't blow me away. Nothing about her music like catches my attention and makes me want to listen to it more. Like if I hear a Taylor Swift song on somewhere, I don't just sit there and go, oh God, Taylor Swift again. But I don't actually go and actively listen to it. I have no reason to actively. I never get the desire to listen to Taylor Swift. It's just like one of those things that if it's actually there and like it's playing, like I'm not offended by it. I just don't care. But like Beyonce, like I said, like she had that Lemonade album that was actually like a legitimately amazing artistic statement of an album. You have other artists like that have done, like, I mean, Kanye West. I mean, I used to hate Kanye West because his whole personality and his whole his whole thing was just like annoying and obnoxious to me. But My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus, those were fucking amazing albums. They were so good that they made me made me swallow all the shit I talked about over the years and be like, okay, fine, yeah, he's really good.
Also, Auntie, it's also common to drop mind-altering drugs at just any concert. I don't know how many concerts you've been to, but like that's just a concert thing. So if you didn't know that, welcome to the 21st century. 20th century even, where we drop LSD at concerts.
Oh, we were doing that even in my day.
There's only one song that's been on the radio over here recently, though, because I occasionally do listen to the radio in the car. We have a decent kind of college-ish indie radio station here in Dallas called 91.7, and they I mean they play stuff I like, and but mostly it's older stuff older stuff that I like. But there was one new song that just came up from a new artist that I really did like, and that was Genesis Owasu, named a song called "Leaving the Light." That song is actually pretty badass. It's kind of like a cross between, I don't know, it's like CeeLo Green meets Death Grips. It's fucking badass. I would definitely recommend that guy. I don't know about any of their music, but like that one song, "Leaving the Light," that song is fucking amazing. That's like that, and that's the only thing that's impressed me on the radio in a while, though.
Again, Auntie, everything gets mixed with drugs. Okay, watching Bluey. I guarantee you, there are people that like get fucking stoned off their ass and watch Bluey.
Oh, you're kidding me? My wife.
Is it the Blues Clues guy?
When my wife was a raver. When my wife was a raver, she used to sell ketamine and ecstasy at the club, and she went with Blues Clues ears and a Blues Clues backpack. That's what she sold everything out of. So yes, all those things get mixed with drugs. So
yep.
No doubt about
no, Bluey's like a it's like a kids show, kind of in the vein of Peppa Pig, but better.
I didn't even know Peppa Pig. So let's see, Bluey. I don't even know how to.
Blue with a Y. Blue with a Y.
Yeah, I've seen it. He's just like Blues Clues for this generation, kind of. He looks just like Blues Clues.
It's like a little cat thing.
Yeah. It is actually allegedly like
like cereal. Like there's.
I'm going to be very familiar with this stuff again very soon, because like my little kid is getting to the age where she's going to start wanting to watch that stuff. But until now, she's just been one, so she just turned one. So she's like Juniper is not yet. She hasn't really given a shit about TV or anything yet at this point. She'll watch Muppet Babies for like 15 minutes and then she's done. So like we haven't really had to deal with like kids stuff, but like that time is coming. I'll be very familiar with all the kids TV and stuff very shortly. So.
You mean the like the K-Tel records and stuff that would come on TV?
K-Tel?
It had like all the hits on one record, because you didn't have
Now This Is Music.
Yeah, but it was fake. Yeah, K-Tel. But because back then if you didn't catch it on the radio, you didn't really have a way to hear music. You had to go out and buy each individual single or album. And K-Tel was a way to get all the hits in one place, but they were like fake cover band versions.
Well, there was the now this is what I call music collections. Those had the actual stuff on them.
And then the cassette came out, and you could start recording off the radio. Which is
And then when I was a kid, before the age of the internet and music downloading, we finally, around when I was like 15, 16, we finally got a place called CD Warehouse in my hometown. And CD Warehouse would actually let you, because they just sold used CDs, so you could actually take any open CD and you could go to a listening station and listen to it beforehand. And that's how I discovered music for ages and ages and ages.
Oh yeah, we used to do it in Austin.
And I used to, and beyond that, I would drive all the way to Dallas from Texarkana, which is like a 3.5-hour drive. I drive all the way to Dallas just to go to Tower Records and a couple other places, so you could find the CDs like for the bands that I like, because like they didn't even carry them, even at the CD Warehouse. A lot of times, they didn't even have a lot of the stuff I wanted to listen to. Or I mean, like at least I didn't have anything new. I would have listened to everything they had at CD Warehouse that was decent, and then I would go out and Tower Records in Dallas, and I would they would have the ability to, like, you could scan any CD and hear like samples of it, so you could, like, you know, and it was amazing, because I discovered, that's where I discovered like almost all the even albums that I listen to this day. Like that's where I discovered Jimmy Eat World. That's where I discovered, like, I mean, and Jimmy Eat World back in the early Jimmy Eat World, Static Prevails and Clarity. God, there's so many bands I found that way.
Welcome Machine.
Yes, Welcome Machine Lies.
Hey, Machine's here.
But I'm gonna give you a big ask though, Machine Lies. This time, I want the machine to tell the truth.
Uh-oh. I saw there was some drama going on or something. I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah, they were creating drama about me. So pretty much all day. I mean,
did it start with Lindsay when she went on?
Yeah, kind of started with her whole thing, and I don't know if you had a chance to catch that. We kind of hashed that out on the show today. So, you know, we're still on the show right now. The episode's still going on. You guys are on the episode.
Hey, Destroyer, good to see you.
Hey, Destroyer.
Is it are you double streaming? Is this
I'm double streaming right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Well,
I'm double streaming. I'm double streaming just to see what you know. I'm restreaming it to my channel too. So there's nobody that's not subscribed to my channel that isn't already here. I'm just doing it just as a backup.
So what's the latest? It went from Lindsay to, I saw you fight with Cynthia.
You're fighting with Cynthia.
Oh, okay.
So cool though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think all these people are cool.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but it turns out that a lot of these people are showing some interesting patterns, and I don't really, because it's too much to discuss, and that's why I kind of did this stream, because I wanted to give a sort of play-by-play about it before all these streams kind of vanished and all the information was gone forever, and all these people were gone, and nobody wanted to talk about it anymore. So yeah, I just think it's very interesting. They did a whole show yesterday night. It was like 2.5 streams about personal information about my life, extremely damning information in regards to me and my marriage while I'm going through this separation. And a lot of it was not founded on any clear evidence, so I was just exposing some of the actors here in the communities, because it seemed like an interesting case study, because a lot of these events had happened just recently. I mean, and I'm also noticing a pattern on how they conduct the streams. Like they sent Lindsay to Jack Talcott's stream one day, and she started haranguing him about I'm assuming that it's Flow State's channel or something, because they go and do a whole stream about it the day after. Right the minute after
Flow, isn't she?
I don't know. I'm just assuming that it's some type of
but somehow she ended up on Jack Talcott's, whether she was sent or not. She ended up there.
Well, Flow State's always on on Jack Talcott. Lindsay's a fan of Flow State. Okay, that seems pretty benign, right?
Hey,
But
Jonathan.
Lindsay went on Jack Talcott's stream, okay, started asking him extremely interesting information about his personal life, right, in kind of an accusatory manner, saying that this and that is the reasons why your wife left you or whatever, and your son left you and all that type of stuff. So Jack
Dang.
responded to that kind of in a sort of you know, in a hostile manner, as he should. He should have the ability to do that when somebody comes at him in this accusatory tone and he's doing this public broadcast, right? Right. So then they go and make a whole show on Flow State about how offended Jack Talcott is about what Lindsay said. Lindsay is not even on the scene at this
they're
point.
doing it for drama, like on purpose?
Well, I'll just tell you what happened to me. I'll just tell you what happened to me. Okay. Because because it incredibly matches up the same exact situation. You know, they came on my stream, right? Right, said all these things, you know, and it's 2 or 3 people making the same exact accusation. So I don't know how they could be making it unless they collaborated with each other, right?
Yeah, Flo kind of just brought that up last night, just on a side note.
Yeah, he brought it up on a side note, and I'm not blaming Flo for anything, but I'm just
And
saying
it's probably my fault because I told him I hadn't seen that part of the show either. And he said, well, he didn't see it. And then someone else said, well, let's just watch it.
I just think it's interesting that they did the same exact thing on Jack Talcott's show, then the same exact thing happened on my show.
Because it's drama content. It's the latest content that they know works.
Right. It's drama content. So my question is it being manufactured or
it's like E News or whatever?
I can see Flo. I can see Flo being smart enough for something like that, but I think like Lindsay's probably just an innocent bystander. I could be wrong.
Well, Chuck, someone said that you and Jack made up. Y'all solved.
No.
I don't think so. I was skeptical when I heard that, but
misinformation, Jeff.
The thing with Jack and Joe Cool or Jack and Chuck is a little bit different. It's on a little bit of a different level because that's just a kind of a
it's a discussion about his ideas, not family life.
It's a rift in like boomer mentalities. I mean, and then it just goes to the ages. I mean, of like,
hey, watch that boomer shit.
You guys are elders.
You're right. Hey,
you guys are the elders, though. You know what I mean? You know, that's how my dad is too. You know, there's certain old dudes that my dad can't talk to. You know, because they see things a different way. You know, if you go back in time,
CNI dog.
What'd you say, Chuck?
I said, let me go find my CNI dog.
But yeah, you know what that's just more of that's just more about like for example, like Joe Cool is never gonna see the system the same way as Jack Talcott sees it. You know, it's just their life experiences. You know, I just feel like, you know, he's gonna audit the police, and you know, his call to action looks a very dissimilar to Jack Talcott's call to action, which is that we all just agree to coalesce this great change. You know, so that's never gonna be the kind of activist mentality. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a sort of more of a change things from within. You know what I mean? So it's just a fundamental rift in their ideology. But like, to accuse me of beating my wife because you read something about Muslims, I just think that is fucking crazy. You know?
You mean that's not true?
Well, what's not true?
That Muslims don't beat their wives?
Chuck was joking.
I know, so was I. I was being facetious.
I'm saying that you were joking.
I thought she said that it was like rumors she had heard, or they were saying the
Snafu. I mean, she can probably say that.
Like, not that she had read it from a Muslim book, but that she had heard it from specific people in the panel verse.
She first said that, and I asked her what relevance would hearing rumors about somebody committing a crime, okay, in an internet chat room, and then coming on their live stream to repeat that to them. You know, you know, so then I asked her what the deal is, And then she responded with, "Well, I read that in magazines and stuff that Muslim men beat their wives." I said,
Oh.
"What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, what magazines are saying that?
It's like
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then I said, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? And then she says, well, doesn't Islam say something? And I said, if Islam said something about it, what the fuck does that have to do with my personal affairs or what I do, in my life, or what Muslims do, or any fucking thing like that? And then her response to that was, okay, so just to clarify, you don't beat your wife and you've never beaten any of your wives. And I said, "Oh my fucking god! What the fuck is wrong with you?"
When people read things in Popular Bigotry, they take it very seriously because it's a very well accredited magazine. Popular Bigotry is like it's pretty wide circulation. I think they should really watch what they're saying.
Well,
these days.
TML, isn't there different factions of Muslim religion?
Of
Just
course,
like there is Christianity.
It's not even that. The whole that whole stereotype springs from poor understandings of a lot of usually Arab countries that are majority Muslim, where women obviously tend to have fewer rights and things like that. Things like domestic violence usually don't go as well addressed. So
Yeah,
people will
non-reported.
extrapolate that. Yeah, well, so people will extrapolate that into, oh, this is just a Muslim thing, even though it's like, no, this is this society fucking hates women
it's
thing.
Yeah,
rampant.
it
It's
has much more.
rampant. Sometimes,
yeah,
sometimes much more rampant in the West. Why? Because of alcoholism. Okay, we
Yeah,
don't
actually,
have
that is actually one of the things that Islamic countries actually have going for them is they don't have as much of that sort of substance abuse related.
And how about
domestic
this?
violence.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, and how about this? Lindsay literally admitted that she's the product of alcoholic abuse of her father. So, so
that's probably
like,
one. That's probably one of those things. It's probably one of those things where because she experienced that, she probably sees it everywhere though. It's probably easier for her to believe that sort of thing because of that.
Yeah, but yeah, you could see it everywhere, but to see it about me for hours,
dude, I'm
time,
not defending her. I'm saying I'm on your side here. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that, but from a psychological perspective, that kind of abuse does color people's views of other people.
I think they're both grown ups and they can talk it out.
No, I mean, I played that on a show, and she comes on the show. I just played this on my show, by the way. She came on she comes on the panel, with a I don't know what type of picture it was. It was kind of like a whorish picture or whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna lie or whatever. And it's got "fuck you" written on it. She says, "You know what? My response is fuck you, TML."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And I go, okay.
Damn.
Wow.
Well, that's just like when EBT called you that name last night. That pissed me off. There was no need for that.
I'm used to it because I live in Detroit. It is what it is because I actually grew up in Taylor, Michigan. They call it Taylor Tucky.
I don't think
Taylor Tucky.
I don't think there's any excuse for EBT and TBE and the rest of them. Period. I don't think there's much excuse for them to just be here. It's I wish they just go away. I really do.
Well, I kind of proved this morning and on my other show that they's really obsessed with me. But yeah, I mean, I must have pissed them off. I mean, it all started when they kicked me out of their Discord community. That's when this fucking.
When was this, way back or recent?
If you. Yeah, I'll show everybody on my show. I did 2 attack streams on them. When this happened. Because they made a stream about me and in which they looked at my wife's Twitter.
I think I remember that one.
Everything always starts. Everything positive always starts with looking at Twitter.
At someone's Twitter, yeah, I know.
Social media.
I want an attack stream.
That's why
we need some
one of
enemies.
That's one of the many reasons I never really got into Twitter. I just I never saw any advantage in doing it. It just seemed like it was
Facebook same way. I can't stand Facebook.
I used to post on Facebook a long time ago, like a long time ago, but I haven't posted. The only social media thing I was ever really popular. The only reason I was ever active on was MySpace way back when. But since then, I have not actually I have not engaged much social media beyond the bare minimum. I did for a while when I worked for Crack because it was like a way to try to promote my articles, stuff like that. But I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
And I did get a lot, and I got a lot of. I actually
hey,
I still have quite a few subscribers just from that one Cracked article that went viral. But yeah, but still.
I use Twitter to see lots of drawn furry porn. That's what I use it for.
Yeah, I go if I go to Twitter,
Furry porn.
I will inevitably see
John Fetterman porn. John.
You only see the drawn type because every time I go on Twitter, I end up.
Don't kink.
I don't know how, but for some reason, I end up with tons of Only Girls fans in my feed, and I don't even follow any Only Girls fans.
All those little fake robot girls have been following me lately. I think it's like a bot.
It's a bot type thing, but they end up in my feed, and I keep trying to block them.
I block them the minute I see they follow me. I block them.
And then I get notifications and I just show Leslie, I'm like, look, I just want you to see that I'm not actually. I want you to see that I'm getting notifications from this girl's nude girls nude pictures in them. I want you to see this because I'm not following this person. I try to block them and it still comes through on notifications because I can't even I blocked her page and everything. I don't know. It's just weird. And they're also creepy. They're not even girls I find attractive. They look like weird plasticine like they all have all this weird plastic surgery and stuff on them. They're very weird and creepy. There's this uncanny valley quality to a lot of them that I'm just it's very
they got the big ass and the big tit.
Not even that. There's one girl I think that a long time ago I remember seeing that she had spent all this money to make herself look like Japanese. She tried to make herself like an anime girl, and it ended up in my feed, and it was creepy. She didn't look. She had maybe it was AI or something. I don't know, but it was it was a lot way before AI became kind of prevalent. So. And she was it was creepy though. She did not look like a real person at all. Everything about her skin, everything looked like plastic and stuff like that. It was very weird. But
anybody remember Twiggy?
I remember Twiggy. Twiggy was cute. Twiggy was cute.
Yeah, Twiggy
from the '60s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Twiggy was cute.
She was a hot item back in the day.
Yeah, she was hot.
This is why, as many as you got TikTok, at least their algorithms are effective.
My last two relationships, my last two marriages, they started online.
So my marriage started online too.
Yeah. So you just reinforced your title name. The Machine Lies.
There you go. Got it.
Oh shit. Oh shit. But yeah, I think definitely I've talked about this on my show. I think that technology is a sexual selector. It's created a whatever cul-de-sac, if you will,
a bunch of cul-de-sacs. Yeah, it's unlike the early internet where you had a lot of these basically open forums that anyone could view. You now have a bunch of more smaller insulated communities all around. It's very, very much, I think, a worse iteration of the internet.
It could be used it could be used for good, but it's just typically not. I think there's a good idea in having smaller communities and having more communities are more dedicated to certain things, but yeah, it's typically not used. It turns into echo chambers, and people just just stay in that echo chamber forever, and it's not good. But yeah, I hear you on all that stuff, though. I mean, yeah, Twitter. That's half the reason I don't even use Twitter much is because I no matter what I do, it seems like my feed ends up getting filled with porn no matter what I do, and I just don't even. And it's not even porn that I like. It's gross. I don't even want to see that shit.
Well, they pay to interject that into every feed, so it's not you. It's just they pay to get it interjected.
Whenever I used to work at Tower Records, and we had, remember when we first opened, we had like this, we had a book there that was like it was a book of like all the original Playboy centerfold and all early Playboy photography stuff, and like you see how tasteful and like how beautiful like some of the women were in the early Playboy stuff, and like you see like the difference between that and now, and like what porn looks like now, and like it's just a different thing, man. Like
you
the
just
women
ran TML off.
Did I?
With the porn? Is it the porn?
Talking about naked women.
Isn't he the one that wants to harem? Why would that run him off?
No, TML only
I
wants
think his
one
connection
wife.
died.
Yeah,
I
he
think his
said that
connection
last
died.
night. He only wants one woman at one time.
Oh, he was talking about a harem, like
He was
2 weeks ago.
joking. Yeah, he was joking.
I mean, yeah.
He
TML, if
sounded
you're out
pretty
there, I'm
serious,
sorry if I
very
ran you
detailed.
off. If it was me, then please come back. I'll stop mentioning it. I was just saying that I just thought that when I remember looking at that book whenever I was
we're
working at
driving
Tower.
Auntie away too with the porn talk.
No, I'll stop. I mean, I'll stop. Like it's not like I wasn't trying to talk about porn. I was talking about how I didn't like it. I mean, anyway, I wasn't talking about what porn is good. I was just saying that back in the '60s, whenever they did that stuff, it was a lot classier and a lot more respectful of women than it was today. You know, it was only topless and stuff like that, and it was just like the women were more. I don't know. They just looked like real women.
Porn.
I got kicked out.
I mean, we're all adults here, right? I mean, I don't know.
No.
This is not a kid-friendly stream. I have it set. I have it marked.
I'm only 16.
Oh no! What have we done?
I've had a hard life. Can't you tell?
I don't know why is Lib sexting in the live chat. I don't understand.
Oh, because it's Frank.
Frank is turning him on.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Although I gotta say, Frank's little monkey thing. Every time I see it, it's so cute. It makes
it is very cute.
Harder to hate.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say about this this book right here, Technological Society. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, Technological Society.
Can't.
Who wrote it?
Yeah, Technological Society. Oh yeah. Let me turn this fucking. Yeah, let me turn this thing.
It blends in with your background.
Yeah, it's all fucked up.
Must be a black and white cover.
By Jake Ellul.
Yeah, Jacques Ellul. Jacques Ellul. Yeah, Technological.
What year was that wrote?
1954.
Yeah, I know that actually Aldous Huxley read it. You know what I mean, so yeah, it's a pretty old book. You know what I mean, but yeah, that book basically predicts that technological society would create limited hangouts. He predicted the rise of subcultures, countercultures. You know, he talks about it in that book, and it inspired like Gibson. You know, if you read the work of William Gibson, you know, he talks about
that's who Neurojack is into.
Yeah, because he predicts a lot of stuff. He predicts like multinational corporations as pseudo-governmental entities. You know, like these global NGO groups, these private security firms. He predicts like the rise of like the information age. You know, he predicts the rise of subcultures. You know, and these kind of he predicts urban sprawl and all these kind of things. So he's actually very, very like he's on the money with a lot of aspects of technology, the spread of communication technology, especially. You know, so he like predicted a lot of shit because there's not that much intelligent science fiction. His science fiction was realistic as to what technology actually the effect it has on society. You know, so he was you know, he was really good, and you know, in terms of predicting all that shit.
I'll have to check that out.
Just real quick to respond to Jonathan there. You know, you say I looked like a porn director. The truth is, I actually had a chance to be a porn director once, and I turned it down. So just so you know, I got offered.
Were you offered an actor first, or did they approach you to start with?
No, he was a fluffer.
Like, did they rule you out as an
Okay,
actor ahead
so
of time?
now I guess now that I open my big mouth, I have to explain this. When I first moved to Vegas a long time ago, and me and Lindsay were first going out, she got offered like this. There was this weird dude. This dude was weird too. Okay, he was really weird. He had like a powdered wig that he wore, and he always kept his face like he had this weird white face makeup, like not like stark white, but like he had like this powdered face thing that he did, and he was like this weird crazy guy, and he was making his indie film, and it wasn't porn. Okay, to his credit, it was not porn, but it had nudity in it. And it was like this. There was this scene that like he needed somebody to help like hold lights and stuff like that, basically do a grip work. And I needed money, and he was paying like $150 a day. So I went and did this for 3
Did
days.
you say grip work?
Yeah, grip work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I know that's funny, but grip work means you hold a microphone or lights, though.
Yeah, I know.
But so I went to this guy's apartment literally, and he was a stone cold freak too. This dude was, I mean, he wasn't like a freak like in a sexual, he was never sexual or weird towards anybody, but he was just a weird person. He talked in a weird manner. He was very like, he had this really weird like manner of speaking that you couldn't really understand. His movie was about some weird ass shit. His movie was set in Hawaii, but it was shot in his apartment. He signified that it was Hawaii. I guess he had shot part of it in Hawaii before. I never saw any pieces of beyond like the stuff I shot. I was there for the shooting of, but the part of the movie I was shooting, he had hired this porn actress from LA. He'd flown her in and everything to come and do this nude scene thing, where she would like he had these little like okay, there's little green fluff balls that he had like taped to her with index tape to her body, and like they were like for like green screen for like special effects stuff, and it's supposed to like they were supposed to be like these balls of energy that were going to swirl around or something like that in the post effects. I don't know how it was going to work. It looked terrible, but anyway, but she had to be stripped down naked for the scene as she was explaining how energy works, all this stuff like this. This guy was like this guy that kind of crazy, like this guy crazy on that level, the painting thing on here. It was like that Wesley guy. He was like that he was that degree of crazy. Okay. And so like I was just there literally just to hold lights. I was there to hold lights and microphones for him. That was my whole thing. And I was like, the whole time I'm just thinking like, God, I just need to get through this day. And then this actress shows up, this porn actress, and she walks in and she's like, all right, are we ready to go? And she just strips naked right there, and like completely like full ass nude. And I was what the fuck is going on? Like I was like, what did I walk into? And I guess he saw the look of panic. So he's like, don't worry, we're not doing anything sexual. It's just for the scene.
Oh shit! I would have left right at that moment. I would have been like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Did you stay for the job, or you ended up leaving?
I stayed. I was like, okay, because I only had like 2 hours left before I already been there for like 4 hours, and I only had 2 hours left to get paid.
If they didn't tell me in advance that some bitch was just gonna take off her clothes and she just started taking off her clothes, I'd leave right there. I'd be like, this is some sketch shit. Some people are trying to involve me in some motherfucking crime in this bitch.
Part of the bitch.
Yo, I'm about to get the fuck out of here.
Part of the reason I stayed was because, like, the girl, to her credit,
she was eyes wide shut, like type of event.
She was really cool. She was really chill and everything. She was really chill. She had zero problem with naked. She was so natural and and just completely comfortable in her body, like that. It made me feel more comfortable. And like in between shots, she would just like sit and just shoot the shit with me and stuff like that. And she was telling about what she did and the kind of porn movie she usually does. She was like, yeah, this guy, he's kind of a creep, but at the same time, he's never done anything weird. He's never been creepy towards me. He's kind of just creepy in general, and he pays really well. He's paying me he was paying her like $600 for this. And I was like, damn, I'm not getting paid nearly that much. And like then she whips out, like, she had like one of those like weed pipes made with like just like tinfoil, she just like rolled up some tinfoil and made it into like a pipe, right?
Yeah, I know.
And
those.
So she was like, here, you want to smoke some pot with me? And I was like, yeah, at this point, might as well, right? And so like I smoke pot with this girl who's like completely butt ass naked, just like standing there. She was an attractive woman. Don't be wrong. She wasn't like my type, but she had an attractive body. You know, she was a
hell
porn
no! And now she could have put some shit in your drugs, yo.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're making
but,
like some critical missteps right now. This shit, you would not be able to get away with this in the hood.
But nothing.
And then when he wakes up, he's the star of the movie.
Nothing bad happened. No, I was never in the movie. There was nothing sexual in the scene. It was literally like her explaining, like she was like reading these lines and she had to do a bunch of times because she was not used to reading lines. And she wasn't a very good actress, but that's okay.
Dodge the bullet.
But during the in between things where where he was like setting up his like shots and everything like that and like stuff, and like she was and I was like she was like asking me questions, like she's like, so what, like, you know, like what do you do, like, you know, I was telling her, like, you know, like I moved down here to like work on these films and stuff like that, and I want to be a director and stuff like that. She was like you want to direct, because like I can get you a directing job like right now. You don't even need experience, like you want to come to LA. And I was like, well, I'm more of a writer. She's like, well, we don't really write the movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she was like, but seriously, like I can get you directing work like tomorrow. Like you want to come to LA, and because one of our directors just I don't know. She said quit, but she said it in a weird way that made me think that maybe he died. I don't know. She said, like, because she kind of hesitated before she said quit. One of our directors just quit. And I was
You
like,
could have been the next Roman
Fucking
Polanski.
OD'd.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just like, and I was just thinking, like, well, I've got very little time. I only have a little while left. I don't think I want to become a porn director. Yeah, and I was even stoned too, and I was like, this sounds like a bad idea. I don't think I'm gonna do this. And I was like, why don't you give me your card? And you know, we'll talk or something. She gave me her card. I lost it a long time ago. I wish I still had it. I would show it to you guys if I did. But I mean, this is like
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
we're going back 18 years or so. Okay, we're going back like 18 years.
She's probably not
not
even
that long
in the
ago.
industry.
Oh no, I'm sure she's not. I mean, she was at one point she started talking about like that she was gonna do this porn thing where they were gonna like fuck while skydiving and stuff like that. And I was like, that sounds safe. You know?
Sounds not safe at all.
But yeah, but she was telling she was like, I don't know, maybe she was just stoned. I don't know, maybe she was kind of like flirting in a way, but I felt like it wasn't like flirting because she thought I was attractive. It was more like she was like trying to like ensnare me into like this world or something like that. And like I wasn't really even like I never even like thought about putting my foot in the ring. I had just moved there. I think I've been in Vegas probably like 4 months. You know, and me and Lindsay just gotten serious, and I wasn't about to start going directing porn or anything, but it was just a funny story anyway.
Yeah. You ever rode a motorcycle, Chris?
I have ridden in the back of one whenever I was
You ever get hit by a bug? You ever get hit by a bug or something? How bad that?
I'm sure. Yeah, I think so.
I can't imagine jumping out of a plane going 4 times as fast and running into something like that. Oh man, that would hurt.
Well, at skydiving, you're moving so fast that like it doesn't even.
I think the idea was that they would start fucking before they jumped out of the plane. I think,
and
then they would continue like having sex while they were falling, and then pull the parachute. That was the idea I got, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't really go into. I was stoned, and I didn't go into details. I was just like, it was such a surreal fucking experience. Before that I lived in Texas my whole life, and suddenly I'm living in Las Vegas. I'm in this weird ass guy's apartment that like is like filming this like weird like bizarro like metaphysical like indie film that's shot on like he was shooting on like a Canon like one of those early digital cameras they had, like those Exile ones, and like so it's gonna look like shit. And I knew, and like he was shooting on like with shitty equipment, and like and I was standing there like, you know, holding lights for this guy, and like there was a nude woman standing next to me offering me pot, and like everything about the day was so surreal and so weird. And like then I went back one more day, and like the next day like there was no nudity, so like I talked to her again, but it wasn't as weird or anything. And I think I did like 2 weeks later, I think I went and we did a shoot somewhere else that wasn't at his apartment. We did some shoot in like a lab scene somewhere where like we went to like some water treatment plant, and like that he knew somebody that worked there, and like he was like making it stand as like a lab for like this movie or something like that. I still have no idea what the movie was about. I never saw anything from it. Like the guy was just like this weird ass guy. But the strange thing is like his movies aren't much different than I read another famous Las Vegas filmmaker known as Neil Breen. And it always made me wonder if like somehow him and Neil Breen were somehow connected. Have you heard Neil Breen? You guys know who Neil Breen is?
No.
Look up Neil Breen and enrich your lives, because Neil Breen is he is the king of God. I don't know. He is it like every time I see something about Neil Breen, I think about this guy that I worked this film with, because everything about Neil Breen's movies look just like this guy's movies. It was just the same kind of thing. It was like they're all these weird metaphysical like things, but they're really bad, and like they're bad in ways you can't really hear. I'll post a link up to some Neil Breen stuff just so you can find plenty. If you look on YouTube, you'll find lots of videos. Like Red Letter Media has covered all of his movies, so it was like tons of like anybody that talks about bad movies has talked about Neil Breen at some point. And it's probably I've actually watched some of his movies because I was like so because I find it I found the stuff I saw on YouTube so fascinating, so I actually went and sought the movies out and downloaded them and watched them. But yeah, Neil Breen is very similar to what this guy was making, and like so it's really strange to me that Las Vegas seems to produce people like this, and like because filmmakers like this guy and Neil Breen, they don't exist outside of like Las Vegas that I've ever seen. I mean, like maybe I don't know, maybe James Wynn, the guy that made Birdemic, maybe might fit that description, but I don't know. I mean, it's pretty
Well,
strange.
they didn't call Vegas Sin City for nothing.
I mean, they weren't even like the thing is like as much as like there was a nude woman and everything. The movie was fairly there was no sex scenes in it according to him and according to even to the porn star. I was like, is there like sex stuff in this movie or something like that? And she was like, oh no, there's like nothing. She's like I wouldn't be here if like they wanted me to do anything sexual. Like I'd have my like my security and everything for it's like this guy's harmless, he's just a weirdo and stuff like that. And I was like, well, if anyone would know, that would be this girl that's standing butt ass naked in front of me. Like, I mean, completely naked. I mean, I don't mean like she had like underwear. I mean, she had no clothes on. So yeah, I mean, if she had anybody had a reason to be scared, I mean, she wasn't like an idiot. She wasn't like as stupid as like like that probably makes her sound. She was a fairly intelligent person. We had decent conversations even. Like it wasn't even like she wasn't even that stupid or anything. She was just like she was just an entrepreneur, I guess. Basically, she was doing it until maybe she was paying her way through medical school. I have no idea. I didn't go that far into it.
$20.
Yeah, $20.
Yeah,
$20, right? $600 in her case. She got a free first class flight from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and she got and he put her up in like one of the nicer hotels on the Strip, and gave her $600. So I mean, I couldn't blame her either. I mean, I only got 150, and I was there, so. How is my swing control, Chris? Where yeah, I wasn't. I was too weirded out and stoned to get turned on. And it wasn't like a sexy situation. Okay, it wasn't like she was so like I said, she was so comfortable in her body. It was so like natural, kind of standing there. Like it didn't after like the first few minutes, like the shock of there's a naked woman standing there. I mean, I don't think I'd seen naked women before. I mean, I wasn't a virgin or anything. I mean, it wasn't like the first time I ever seen a naked girl. Like, oh my god, it was strange because of how sudden it was. But like once that initial shock wore off, it wasn't any big deal. I mean, hell, I grew up in a house with mostly girls. I mean, like it was my mom and three sisters. I've seen things like it's not like I'm not prudish when it comes to that kind of stuff. I've often been the kind of person think that nudity is made way more taboo than it needs to be, honestly, in most cases. But especially breasts, like I don't see what the big deal about breasts are. But anyways,
I like titty.
Yeah, titties are nice. I mean, like she had definitely fake ones. She definitely had fake tits, but they were decent. They weren't oversized either. They weren't like.
Yeah.
She didn't have like the double D type thing. She had like nice size C's, and she was a very petite. She was like about a foot shorter than me, so she was a very petite kind of like she had like a complexion of like I can't remember now. She had kind of a darkish complexion, but she wasn't black. She was like just like a brownish complexion.
Who are you talking about? What's the topic?
Just this girl that was at that movie shoot I did. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying she was an attractive girl. She wasn't like unattractive. She just wasn't my type anyway. It wasn't the kind of girl I'd ever been attracted to, so it wasn't like a big deal to me. Because somebody asked me if like how is my swing control, like basically was I like was I getting turned on or something? No, it wasn't. I wasn't like that. It was very casual and very like just kind of like hanging out with somebody. They have me naked. Anyway, and Vegs Bunny is naked and he doesn't even mind. That's true. That's true.
No, I didn't. I stepped away, Gary.
I was in 2 movies.
Were you?
Yeah, Bill Murray Stripes, and
really?
Bill.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You were an extra.
No, we were the dumbass army guys running up the hill.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Bill Murray. That's one of my favorite actors of all time.
And then the other one was Larger Than Life. They shot part of that at the steel mill where I worked.
What's that movie about? I remember.
He inherits an elephant or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, with Bill Murray again.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
He's a nut.
You got to be on set with Bill Murray twice. That's fucking badass, dude. Badass.
Yeah, I remember on Scrooge where he says in the Pledge of Allegiance, he thought the words for which it stands was actually for Richard Stands, and he's like, who's that guy? And he's like, who's that guy, Richard Stands? Yeah, I thought that was like one of the funniest jokes I ever heard. Richard, like for Richard Stands, he's like, yeah, but yeah, I always wanted to know who's that guy, Richard Stands, that they talk about.
Why are we talking about it? Yep.
Yeah,
and if anybody's interested, I did. There is a movie that I wrote that was produced as a short film. It's very short. It's in Portuguese but subtitled. And if you guys are ever interested in looking at it, you're welcome to check it out. I am putting a link up right now. It's a psychological like horror type film, and this one actually was. I was only involved in the writing side of it. It was shot in Brazil. I was not there, but. I worked with this. This is the reason. This is a director I moved to Vegas to work with. So, yeah. And that's unfortunately, this is the only fruit of our long multi-year collaboration. But still,
yeah, I think Groundhog's Day is one of the deepest films of all time. I think it's underrated for how deep the messages of the film. It's like one of the.
I love Groundhog Day.
It's like
totally
like. It's a totally Zen, like Taoist message. Like if you could master one day, you can master like a lifetime. It's like total, like, it's a total fucking like deep, like philosophical film that's hiding in like plain sight.
It's getting close to the top of the hour, so I'm gonna have to head out. But y'all have a good stream. Appreciate being here.
We'll probably wrap up.
Alrighty, Lib.
Yeah,
we'll
see y'all.
Anyway.
Y'all know they're coming out. They're coming out with a new Ghostbuster movie with the original people.
Oh, thank God!
What you mean the original people, like Rick Moranis and them?
Like yeah,
Bill Murray.
What are they
Dan
busting? The
Aykroyd.
nursing home?
Well, they team up with with their descendants that are Ghostbusters.
Poor things.
For one final case.
Yeah, the most recent Ghostbusters movie. Yeah, I saw it. It was kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't like it that much, but it was okay.
Was that the all-woman version, or was it the young kid version?
Oh, the young kid. I've seen both of them. The all-woman version was bad, and not because it was women, because it was unfunny. It was just not a funny movie. And those are funny women. Those are women that are funny in a lot of stuff. I've thought Kristen Wiig was funny in many things. I've actually thought, what's her name, like the bigger woman, Melissa McCarthy. I think she did a movie called Spy. That's a really good movie. That was actually really decent. Like it was a really fun movie. I think all of those women, even Leslie Jones, I think is can be funny and stuff. And so hell, the other girl, the fourth one, the girl that was on SNL for more recently, she was like one of the only funny people on SNL for a long time, but like not one of those people could manage to be funny in that movie. It was just it was boring, and
There's some movies that are just, no matter who you put in it, they're a waste.
yeah, it just wasn't not a funny movie. So Just Frank says that he's tired of men in dresses / Catholic movies. What about if we watch End of Days, Just Frank? The Schwarzenegger demon fighting movie. Since we've been on this demon fighting kick, we can watch a Schwarzenegger like kill Satan.
Oh, really?
I was trying to find movies in that same kind of like genre from that same era, and that was
What was that other
series
series of movies with Tom Hanks? Da Vinci
Da Vinci Code, yeah. Da Vinci Code, yeah.
There was 2 or 3 different movies along that line in that series.
I didn't care for the first one. I did not care for the last one, but Angels and Demons, the second one, I think that movie is kind of hilariously like, it's kind of a bad movie, but it's hilarious because it's got so many parts of it that I think that are just like ridiculous. Like, Ewan McGregor surviving this helicopter crash and all this shit like that. It's just like, I don't know. I think that movie's kind of over the top ridiculous. Him screaming Illuminatus at somebody is hilarious too to me.
How old is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, now? If that's his name.
I don't know. He's probably in his 50s, I guess.
Do you see he's going back to wrestling?
Really?
Yep.
Well, I mean, Hulk Hogan was doing it into his 60s and 70s. So,
He's 51 years old. Wow, he's younger than I am.
I can remember the oldest one I remember seeing was Ric Flair hanging around.
Hogan kept going back to the ring over and over again for a long time. I think he was like
really
old and less. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Ric Flair did it for a long time too. But I never really followed wrestling though. I just know these guys from other stuff mostly.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies when I was a kid is, embarrassingly enough, was Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan. I used to love that movie when I was a kid, like when I was really little, like 8 or 9. I remember I remember renting it from like the local video store like several times. Like I wanted to watch it. I don't know why. That movie is terrible. I don't know why I liked it. Anyway.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters. That's really interesting because that Ghostbusters shit has it's got a lot of ties to like the Institute of the Noetic Sciences. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah.
Well, they try to like do like parapsychology.
Yep. Yeah, well, Dan Aykroyd in real life is tied up into that stuff.
Yep. He believes all that stuff. Like, yeah, like somebody said that he was actually explaining the plot of Coneheads to people, and they started laughing at him, and they said, "That's fucking crazy. Like, did you make that up?" And he started telling them, like, "This is what I actually believe," and like no bullshit. And then and then like nobody would believe him, so he like made it into the plot of like a movie, So yeah. So Coneheads is another
the Coneheads movie. Like the Coneheads movie, I remember seeing that. That movie like was not good.
Well, he was even teaching.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. Yeah.
At a university, parasite that paranormal psychology stuff.
Yeah, he's huge into that. He was in the Twilight Zone movie as well. He was like,
he?
Yeah.
Machine, what do you think about the prevalence of the number 23 in media? Have you noticed this? Like I've been noticing it for a long time.
23 and me.
Well, just like the number 23 is it's the only sacred number in Discordianism, and you'll see it pop up as a prominent like set.
How many chromosomes you got, or whatever that is?
Yeah, there's that
23.
Yep, and there's the 23 like I don't know, like Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg's like show Space. They live in apartment 23. Max Headroom, the network he worked for, was network 23. I just watched this movie that Robert Rodriguez made recently called Hypnotic, and like it was the whole plot kind of revolved around this. It was in a safety deposit box that was number 23. Like I just like one of those things that do you think it's like a signal like that the people like they're working on these movies are like Discordians, or what do you think about that?
Well, there's a definite tie-in there in terms of you look at like a lot of the movies, like most of the plot to the movies, like you take like the biggest like 3 movies or some shit, you take like Minority Report, and they always have like concepts in it, like like there go the oracles, you know what I mean? And they got
Well, I
like
mean,
oracles that.
that's because of Philip K. Dick, though. Philip K. Dick was like, I mean, dude, Philip K. Dick was on some.
But
Was
that's
on
what I
some shit.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
why is science fiction influenced by the occult? And then, obviously scientists were influenced by alchemists. So I mean, obviously, if you just try to point out this fact, I guess people will say like you're like on some type of conspiracy shit. Do you think that that science comes? And it's not to say that no, actually, primitive magic is primitive technique, as Jacques Ellul really says in the Technological Society. He says magic basically follows the laws of technology. It manipulates nature for a specified result. So you could apply that definition to both magic and technology, and then you get to the science fiction realm, where you have the Arthur C. Clarke guy, and he says that any sufficiently developed technology is indistinguishable from magic, and you get to these guys like Joseph Campbell, who say that
Yeah.
the myth of the scientific age, is a scientific and a technological myth, essentially. So it's like we dream, like in terms of, and that's what it is. It's like most people, they have a dream. The dream was usually connected to, some great time in the past. It was a daydream about how to get back to like this like forgotten land, this forgotten people, this great time, the way of your father, the way of your people, you know what I mean? But now there's a dream of the future that invades our conscience. And this dream of the future is a dream of evolution. And that is essentially could have a dual impulse, and the dual impulses are discordianism and accelerationism. It's this faith in the future, one based in the accelerationist is thriving on this sense of emergence, that's in the evolutionary ideal. And then the discordian is just thriving on the sense of chaos within the evolutionary ideal. And I think they're really birthed out of this postmodern, and post geological, kind of synthesis where both time and space are seen as illusions.
Yeah, no, I hear you. God, I know that in my lifetime I'll probably never get there, but I would, I would just, I would give anything to get a chance to like make my movie about discordianism, about Carrie Thornley's life. I think that that's just an amazing story, such an amazing story there about the birth of discordianism and like all the stuff.
Well, have you seen those Sandra London her channel, the Sandra London Archive?
No, I haven't seen that one. Posted.
She has actual on YouTube. She has interviews with Carrie Thornley.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I may have seen the interviews before because I used to. I'm a big fan of / like a big. I used to research discordianism really hardcore. That's why I was working on it because I read this article in 14 Times a long time ago about discordianism at Carrie Thornley, and like it piqued my whole interest in the whole thing. I was like 14, and ever since then I've wanted to tell that story because I think like just like the. Can you? I mean, I've always thought that of course now they're getting too old for it, but like, wouldn't it be amazing to have like Carrie Thornley and Greg Hill played by like Jim Carrey and Benicio del Toro? Wouldn't that be? Can't you see Jim Carrey like as Carrie Thornley? Doesn't he like just like fit that? And it seems like he would like be into that too, Like
Jim
the way
Carrey, I think something weird happened to Jim Carrey where
I think so. I think probably too. But,
yeah. Did you hear about him in the what's her name? Ariana Latte or what's her name?
Grande.
Oh, okay, Grande. Yeah, Ariana Grande.
Singer?
Yeah.
Ariana Latte.
Ariana Latte.
I'm gonna call her.
I don't know. I thought her. Yeah. I don't really keep up with these people, but he was dating that. Yeah, he was dating this extremely young actress. Because I know when my wife was here, she used to watch this like celebrity like news and stuff, and it said that this guy Jim Carrey was like, he had this sexual relationship with Ariana Grande, I guess,
Weird.
which is
Yeah,
kind of like
I don't know.
salacious, and he's talking all this
Yeah.
Freemasonry. Did you guys see all the interviews where he's talking all this like Freemasonry stuff?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's really.
yeah.
I kind of wondered if he was a Discordian. So
I
that's
wouldn't
the only reason
recognize it if I heard it.
Yeah, he
okay,
started talking like he started like spreading like all this like Gnostic and like occult shit like in like broad like in like TV interviews and shit. He started getting like weird with it.
Oh. No, I
Did
didn't see
you
that.
have you guys? I mean, this is kind of a little bit off topic, but there is like this bizarre story that just like this reminded me of just because of weird stories about celebrities, and like I haven't heard anyone else talk about this in a long time. So before you close out, I just want to say, have you guys ever heard the story about how Mel Gibson supposedly like saved Courtney Love from like overdosing?
No, hadn't
Oh,
heard that one.
these people are all fucking weird. Like who like associates with somebody like Mel Gibson? Like this guy's supposed to be like upright Christian, and they portray him in the media as like this like Christian zealot.
Well, but this
he's
is the thing.
like
He didn't know her. He didn't know her. He heard that she was staying at this hotel.
Oh, that's just too weird. This is just a made up story.
Yes, this is the celebrity gossip channel.
Read the story. Read this. It's so weird. Like he showed up at her Beverly Hills hotel Keller when she was doing drugs with all these guys, and he brought her like cookies or something like that. He said like, you really need to like think about what you're doing and consider changing your life. And like that's what got her into rehab. It's bizarre, man. There's all these weird stories with celebrities that are like that, or just like they're like, dear God, like what the hell is going on there? But anyway, I don't know. I thought that story was completely was.
You remember Bruce
looking into.
Boxleitner?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, he did what, Battlestar Galactica or something like that, and some other thing. He was not much of anybody. But he was 37 when he started messing around with Melissa Sue Gilbert when she was 16.
From Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah. They ended up getting married. They're divorced now, but there's some strange folks in Hollywood.
Yeah, that was a good one. And Inland Empire after it. Does anyone have any last-minute celebrity gossip they want to get in before we wrap it up?
I'm posting a link to the article about that in chat, but it won't let me post it for some reason. I don't know why.
Probably because it's not true.
Okay, look, if you look up Mel Gibson, Courtney Love, you'll see like not just one, but like about 20 articles about it. It was widely reported back in 2006. This isn't like obscure gossip. Really, it's not. It's really
so
strange.
As dingy as he is, I maybe could believe it.
Yeah, click on that article and like say what you think. That's the first one that came up in the search results. It's not like there's tons of more that are probably there. I saw an interview with Mel Gibson where he talked about it too, and he was just like, I don't know, I just had this feeling that she needed help, so I went up to her hotel room and I found out that somebody told me where she was staying, and yeah, he got Robert Downey Jr. sober also. Yeah, like Mel Gibson's like this weird, like despite like how he's like portrayed as like like the one of the most evil people in Hollywood and stuff like that, and then and yet he's helped like several other celebrities like get sober. It's really weird. It's like strange
until he gets drunk, then he gets mean.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but there's like if you look up just those two names together, you'll see like all these names, like all these articles about it, and yeah, it's strange. But anyway.
Huh.
All right,
year
guys.
did that supposedly happen?
2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
All right, Jeff. I'll sign off since you're wanting to go.
Okay, it was good seeing you guys later. Monday, Talcott will be streaming later, I'm sure, and whoever else on Monday.
What's his title? Love?
Let me see if he has it up. Love. Let's see. The Mysteries of Love and Peace.
How did I guess that?
The
And
ego
Alright,
says,
fellas.
once everything falls into place, I will find peace. The spirit says, find peace and everything will fall into place.
How weird is that? I was just talking about Courtney Love, and he's talking about love, and that love isn't. Wait, that's love's
The
in every one of his
mysteries of
dreams.
love and peace.
It doesn't actually mean anything. I just think how it was strange that Mel Gibson saved Courtney Love, and it's like the mysteries of love. See, it's synchronicity, guys. It's a conspiracy. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Anyway,
What's that say? No matter how many something.
No matter how many you help, some no matter how many you help, some will only see what you don't do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he saved her. He saved her knowing what she did. Definitely not a Gibson. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what that difference is. I mean, like, you read the story, it was like he just like he felt like there was like he said he felt compelled to like try to help her because he felt like she was in a bad place and he didn't even know her at the time. And like the story is from her. The story in that article is from her perspective. It's an interview with her, and she's talking about how like she was like, "Who the hell is this? Why is this guy at my door?" And she was like, so weirded out by it that it actually shook her out of her drug haze and like got her to get help or something like that. And it's just weird. I don't know why it happened, but it's a strange thing. I just remember seeing that I remember seeing that interview ages ago, and like I've never heard anybody talk about it afterwards. I always thought it was such a weird fucking thing. He was compelled by Satan to save a demon. Well, yeah, I know. Courtney Love is kind of evil, but yeah. Anyway.
All right, then I'm out.
All right.
Take care, Chuck.
Okay.
We'll see
Later,
you
guys.
Yeah. Have
See you
a
later,
blessed day, brother.
See you later, Machine.
Thank you.
All right. Peace, guys. I'm going to go shut it down on my channel as well. Thank you guys for having me here. Bless.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
Everyone else, take care.
Yeah,
We'll probably end up on Discord watching something, so you can join us there. Otherwise, we'll be here tomorrow. Same time.
Same time. Later, guys. Bye.
Okay. And Talcott will be up in probably about an hour. Thank you, Auntie, Fatty, Uncle, Fatty, Auntie Dearest, Cynthia, everyone else, Britt, Arpole, good to see you here. And we'll do it again tomorrow.